joy of painting.
The creation of some happy little trees. What's going on, everybody?
What up? What up?
Welcome to episode 27 of Deep Seated Podcast.
What's up? What's up?
Not much, man.
Better,
Just
how
you
you?
know, fucking just putting out a little tweet, a little tweet bird action. Putting on a little bird in the little Twitter sphere. But yeah, no, I'm doing good, man. So, you know, just got fresh off the redneck truck.
Yeah, I was gonna say, right?
Fell off the back of the truck, you know. I damn lost my wheat stick though. Do you know that's actually fucking
yeah. Chew the wheat and it becomes almost a paste, like a gum.
That's where gum started. Yeah, was because essentially, for anybody that was wondering where we're going with that, is the simple fact that when you see Hicks,
it's funny. I already knew where you
just
were
like
that.
myself, the way I look right now. This isn't gonna offend anybody. Y'all know that this is a good thing. If you look like this and you got a wheat stick, that's no offense to anybody. That's just that's a amazing style. That's a stylistic choice, one might say.
Stylistic choice.
But yeah, people used to chew on that wheat stick because it would actually turn into like a natural gum.
Yeah, you would break down the fibers.
Exactly. And I think they even said that it had like some form of actual, like, who knows, maybe it had some kind of like probiotic benefits or some shit, or something that was just like good for your indigestion or some shit. But that's probably some wives' tale action.
Who knows, right? Maybe something mixes with your saliva, and then as you swallow it,
yeah.
Who knows?
Okay, and then
there's probably some science behind that.
That's fuck. See, this is when we do need a chin or an intern or something like that. That's doing the behind the scenes now, finding out exactly where gum was created and how it was. It came from a gum tree in 1745. When was gum created? So straight out the fucking 1848. Settlers picked up this practice. The American Indians chewed a resin made from the sap of spruce trees. Okay. So that's straight up a different fucking variety of what we were talking about. Because I think I might have interwoven two stories, but I know that the wheat sticks they would chew on and it would be a gum style paste. But perhaps it's from what it's saying is that gum was actually derived from originally chewing on sap from spruce trees. But
interesting, chewing on sap.
Hey man, fucking we always have weird tendencies as human beings to like chew on things, or like, I mean, that's one of the first things kids start doing because it helps break in their teeth, right?
Like teething and
stuff,
right?
Just start chewing on everything, and there's like it's our instincts. But how's you, my dude? What's going on?
Not much, man. Just pretty sore today. Got back into doing some skating last week, so
that's good.
Honestly,
I saw that shit.
I don't even remember the last time I went skating. Like it's been that long.
Yeah.
Probably fall maybe.
Dude,
but
with the
it's like
time acceleration as of late, it's easily been
yeah for sure. And it's funny, like getting back into it, you know, you're like stretching and stuff, and you're like, okay, like I'm feeling all right, going skate. And then later that night, you're like, oh, you can kind of feel like getting stiff. And then it's the next day, you're like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sore. But it's the 2 days later that you're like,
yeah.
Oh fuck, like,
oh man,
you get the jello.
You're waking up those muscles and shit again.
Oh
like,
man.
Let's make sure that this thing is audio sync action.
So I've just been a couple days skate and roll around. Yesterday I did a day trip to Kamloops Park.
Oh, sick.
But yeah, it's like I got there because from here to there it's about just over 3 hours.
Right.
3:15, something like that. So when I got there, I was like out of the car like so stiff, man, and like my legs were super stiff too. So I had to like really spend some time to like do my old man stretches.
Oh yeah.
To get all limbered up, and then on top of that, then you got to just do like the rolling around.
Yeah,
like
for reals.
Half hour probably.
Get
just
that
the little
cruise going
ollies
again.
and just pumping shit. But it's good, man. Yeah, it was fucking crazy hot over there. Like,
what was it like? Probably at least like 25 up there, or some shit.
I think it's about 24.
Which is funny. Anybody that's like listening from the States, they're like,
they're like, it's 42 right now, right? Yeah.
But that's hot up here, okay?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Out here, like, man, what's the hottest we've had? Like 34 or something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like,
that's some crazy shit.
Unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
mid high 20s is
just
like
just
crazy.
Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. I ran into a lady in the elevator and she was just like, is it too early to complain about the heat? And I just go, yep, it definitely is. And she's just like, oh.
That's so funny, man. It's even like, who was it? Afro was saying, right?
Yeah.
When he's like, how people complain about the weather. They complain when it's raining, complain when it's sunny.
That is the fucking worst up here. There's just people that'll they just need to complain.
People, yeah,
the chaos
no matter what,
regular.
no matter what the day, right? People want what it's not.
Yeah, for real.
When it's too wet, they want it to be dry and sunny. When it's sunny and hot, they want it to be cold.
I just generally think that becomes
it's like an icebreaker or something to talk about.
It's something that they know the outcome, you know what I mean? Like if they bring up this topic in a certain way, they know the reaction that they're gonna get. So it's kind of like an A plus B equals C situation. So it just like makes them feel good without having to like venture into like things that they don't want to hear about or find out about, or like, you know what I mean? Like there's just like this weird, it's that
the weather talk is like, it's like the cooler talk at work.
Yeah,
you know,
for
like,
real.
It's that when you don't really want to talk about anything, it's something that's short and you can just like, it's like to break that awkward like
I always fucking feel the worst
around.
when like that is one of the things that comes out of my mouth when you're like, oh, did I just say actually like say oh but the weather or some shit like that. You're like fuck. Like I mean there's one thing to actually like genuinely talk about the weather, because you're gonna use that to lead into like possible things that you want to talk about, or I went over here because it was super nice, or went up to Kamloops, or let's talk about the weather because of that going up, not just like
just because you can't have anything else to say.
How about the weather, eh? You know what I mean? Like there's nothing worse. Like talked to somebody the other day and I was like, oh hey, how are you doing? And they went, yeah.
Where's like a cashier or something?
No, it's my fucking dad.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Really, Dad? Really, motherfucker? Like, I'm sitting here like trying to like genuinely ask you how your day, like, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a few days. Yeah. Okay.
Man, I used to get that shit all the time working retail. Well, I'm fucking.
Oh yeah.
Exactly, right? When you're like, hey guys, how are you or whatever. And sometimes you get the people that just look at you and then just continue walking, and you're like, the disrespect.
Yeah, straight up. Damn, I was just trying to be like, you know, a nice person in your day.
Yeah, you're like, I'm just saying what's up. You're like, do you mean acknowledge that I said anything?
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck me, right? Okay, shit.
So after you ended up getting old man limbered up in Kamloops, you had to get in a good little stash, sure.
Yeah, for sure.
How's the park up there?
Dude, the park it's one of the best parks. It's
really?
Crazy because of what Kamloops is. Like it has, honestly, like it doesn't really have much going on up there.
I'm trying to think if I've seen, because I've been up through Kamloops so many times. I'm trying to remember.
I've been a few times, like over, man, like I'd say like easily 10 years.
Right.
They built it in stages. So I think it was 3 stages they did it. The first one was like these big banks and like A-frames and like some quarters, and then the middle one was the street section,
right,
some ledges and stuff, and then the last edition they kind of pushed it out and they did like a bowl, and then there's a playground next to it, and it's in like a huge park, and it's a really nice park. And the far side of it, I'm pretty sure it's another baseball diamond, because there was one right by the park. I'm pretty sure the one in the far was another baseball diamond, if I'm not mistaken. It was like, it's actually kind of far, so I didn't like walk to inspect, but like from a distance, it was like, that's what it looked like. And then they have the other one, and then there's like a little lawn bowling thing set up as well too, like for some seniors, which is cool. And it's next to the river. It's in an area called like MacArthur. Yeah, MacArthur. Is it Island Park? Maybe.
Let me get some.
But New Line built it.
Which one is New Line? What are they?
They're like the guys that do fucking pretty much every.
Were they linked with?
Here.
Yeah, and like were they linked with like the Slam City Jam stuff and?
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, there's so many people that were linked into that shit.
Yeah.
Like, fucking, that brings up a whole nother can of worms. Oh shit.
Did you go to Slam City Jam?
Dude, hell yeah, I did. I went there fucking probably half a dozen, like 6 years, some shit like that. I probably went there for
six different
different events. Damn. Probably that's where I got my handboard and shit. That was where I saw my first live band. I saw Gob.
Oh shit!
I saw Gob playing. There was like 30 people, like if that, like just like standing there, like fucking like Gob. 15 years old or some shit like that. Like not even fucking smoking weed. No, I think I just started smoking weed and like. But yeah, this park looks legit.
Yeah.
Is there you think there's bike hate at this park?
Bike hate? No, man. There's bikers. There's dudes like on scooters.
Fucking
lots of little kids.
Now that I'm on the daily train and like part of the daily train of like daily vlogs, if anybody's wondering what that I mean by this, is that I'm gonna be wanting to push more adventures, improve my health, and get back in shape and start riding more with everything. So dude, we definitely got to do the Tony Hawk's
I always
Underground
do mob. When I go there, I do the pit stop in Merritt.
Oh, fire!
So you can
yeah.
drive from here straight to Merritt.
I can do half of that, but the street section looks dope.
That's a different part.
Yeah, like this shit.
Yeah.
Fucking leave the pegs on and start trying to learn how to grind again.
Yeah, man.
Fuck, that'd be so sick.
Yeah, because we can do. There's a little park in Merritt, which is pretty chill too. And then that's like where I gas up and stuff.
Yeah,
and then it's about another, I don't know, like 45 minutes from Merritt to get to here, which is fine.
Oh, and then I've got you who actually knows how to skate and do cool things, so I can just like film and put shit in slow-mo and be like, yo, my edit was lit. Did you see me do that one thing? Like,
get like our fully flared intros.
Yeah, for real, right? Dude, when in actuality it'll be like me with like 3 Mighty Mites and like a fucking miniature house. Like,
dude, that'd be hilarious.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do it so low budget that it's actually hilarious. Like you ollieing over like a mini church that's lighting on fire or some shit. Like,
yeah. Do you remember those like fireworks things you could buy where they were the mini houses?
Yes. Right? That'd be so fucking funny, man. Like, do like choose certain scenes but then recreate them so shittily. Like there's that one where Mark Johnson's back 5-0ing that ledge and it's against a wall and then the ledge is blowing up as he passes and like as I pass you could do the Mighty Mites. Right? Like you just like put like I don't know, like dude, you need sprinkle some gravel on it or something so like he could actually see them going off. Cat sneezing in the background. You remember Pop Pops? Those little fucking like they're those little like little they look like
are they the things you throw on the ground?
Yeah.
Okay,
just have a guy in the background like throwing them on the ledge as you're skating past. Like it's just that bad.
Somebody running beside you and doing it. Like
well, that was fucking just reminds me of fucking iDubbbz did a remake of the Slow-Mo Guys. I don't know if I showed you that one or not, but like he's filming
I've seen lots of their videos.
Yeah, so iDubbbz did a remake of it where he's filming it with his iPhone and like everything's in iPhone slow-mo and done so shitty. Like he gets the like
is he doing the same stuff?
He like
same things?
No, he did some really fucking bad shit. So funny. Like he uses like this super cheap ass drone that's like and like flies it into his face with goggles on. I think I did show you that, right? It was so anticlimactic that it was just so fucking funny. Like he has like the popsicle stick one where like they're all interlaced and shit, and he puts like fucking.
Isn't he trying to like do the wave with it or something?
Yeah. Just I love that kind of stuff where it's like a recreation, but just like so terribly done that it becomes fucking awesome.
But like on purpose.
Yeah. For real, just low budget. Oh man, but for real, I'm like starting to miss wheels under my feet. Like. Yeah.
When was the last time that you rode, do you think?
It again would have been probably last fall when I rode fucking my bike down to it would have been when my other bike got stolen from his place, I think. So pretty much like 9 months ago or some shit. No, because it would have been I went to and fro between there, but I remember riding it. Yeah, it was again like last fall. So still long fucking time ago.
It's almost summer now, right?
Yeah.
Well, fucking 'tis the season, man.
Yeah, dude. So it's fucking it's I mean, you know that the feeling of like time passes by and like something that you did your entire life, you're like, oh fuck, I forget what that feeling's like. Yeah, that just even cruising real, and fucking having those wheels rolling feels so good.
Well, for me too, like lately just like seeing things on Instagram, like sometimes I'll I follow lots of skaters, so seeing like it's crazy the amount of stuff that like pro skaters post, like the daily just like throwaway lines and stuff, and it just takes like the right one. So seeing someone that has like the right style even just pushing around, or like a sick basic trick, and you're like, fuck it, like gets you hyped, and you're like, yo, I want to go skate.
Brings back
like,
that same stoke thing. We were watching our fucking skate VHS tapes back in the day.
Like 411s.
Yeah,
shit, right?
For me it was always props videos for BMX. I still have all my props videos. Fucking grew up watching that shit, man. Like just legit, like come home, you rewind your fucking tape that it was always smashed to the end from the day before. Forget to rewind that shit.
Classic.
Fucking press play. Fucking it would be so shitty at the start because you've watched it so many times, and then you just get hyped and you'd go ride for like 9 hours or like until the sun fucking went down, and then
all
some.
day too. Yeah, and that's what I was explaining to some dudes at work. Like one of those days I went skating before work, and like getting back into it, like getting so winded, you know, I'm like, man, my cardio is like pathetic now.
Yeah,
but
that's how I feel right now.
And I get to work and I get there early, I'm like chilling for like half an hour, and then you start to get stiff again from chilling, and I get up and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm so stiff. And I'm like, why are you so stiff? And I'm like, oh man, I went and skated for like 2 hours before work. And it's like average dudes like, you went skating for 2 hours before work?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And to them, they're like, you did something for 2 hours and now you're coming to like for a normal day of work.
Like, yo, I only do stuff for 2 hours like on the weekend.
Yeah, and I'm like, dog, like that's shit. Like I used to, and I was explaining, I was like, man, I used to go to the park fucking 9 a.m. You skate for a couple hours, you hang out, you roll down the street, go to the store, you get some food, chill for like 45.
I'm sure you even had to do
all day till night. I'm like, and then tomorrow lather and repeat, same thing over and over, right?
Well, you were skating during the fucking boom of it too. That I'm sure there was even times where you would guesstimate when the park would be less busy, and you might even have to go later or earlier.
When the Delta Park opened up, I remember
it was crazy.
I went and skated it before it was done.
Yeah.
Like we used to hop the fence, and like when it would only be like this one little slab, and like the ledge would be poured, and like the banks weren't poured yet.
Yeah.
So you'd throw down to get enough speed to skate the ledge because there's not enough ground to like push to roll up to it, like that kind of shit. And then when that park opened up, man, Indy was so fucking busy.
Oh yeah,
and dude. it was open when it was really nice out. So when it's really nice out, parks are fucking lit, you know.
That's fucking real.
But that park was so busy for like a year straight, man.
Well, that was our like first really nice park.
Yeah.
Anywhere around here.
It's fucking
like the closest park was Bear Creek, I think.
Yeah. And Bear Creek's pretty
shitty. We used to still ride our bikes out there to go fucking ride, and then after a while it was just like, dude, this is way too far to ride our bikes when we're like 16 years old, and I'm tired as fuck by the time I get here, and it's shit. The
thing I liked about Bear Creek is they had lots of banks and stuff, different sizes, so you could like learn and work your way up, right?
Yeah.
And then they had like that weird pump roller thing off to the side, which was dope. And then at the back, like just outside of the park at the back, there was that weird curved downhill thing, like
that's
by that
right.
trail.
Yeah.
And then what I didn't like is they had the rock climbing wall, but it was all the gravel and shit. So like little kids would go there, and then there'd be gravel, little rocks all over the park, man. And so you'd constantly be hitting shit and
there was massive cracks in that fucking park. Like I'm talking
no upkeep, man.
No upkeep whatsoever. And so that was part of the shit though too, where it was essentially just like, okay, we kind of need a park around here, you know.
Yeah, man.
And that was straight up the time when like all of us were out there fucking, and I mean, I wasn't doing very much myself. I was the fat kid rolling around on my bike or whatever it was. But regardless, people were out there. We were mobbing, destroying fucking like ledges and public places. And everybody was kind of like, yeah, maybe we should fucking, you know, get these kids a park.
And what's funny, I remember after the park opened up, it's like, you know, park skating wasn't really cool.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like the street footage was like what was considered to be legit. You'd learn a trick at the skate park.
It's still kind of that way.
It's kind of like a training facility, really.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's perfect ground, perfect coping. You know, it's like, it's ideal for learning stuff. And then you would learn something at a park, and then you would take it to a street spot.
Yeah.
Right, which is like shitty ground, chunky ledge, no coping.
For reals.
You got fucking traffic. You got whatever, like,
well, just,
if it's at a building or something,
just even the skate, like
the
streets around here where it's like you have to push that extra hard because it's that hard to get traction because the roads are so gritty.
So it's yeah, it was
on hills too,
considered legit
for sure. And I feel like it still is that way with skating from what I see.
Honestly though, no, like you see lots of park footage and
and
videos now. It's like it's more accepted now.
It's definitely I should
there was
say
like no
that's
tolerance
still
back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think what more or less what I was trying to say is that pocket still 100% exists within skating, like where it's like it's only fucking badass if I'm not saying this is the majority, but there's still those like the rough and tumble badass skaters where they're like only in the streets, only mad fucking bangers.
Well,
only...
it's for the people that grew up with that shit, right? So like I grew up on like it not counting. Really.
For sure.
You could never have park footage in your part. Yeah. Like it was like you'd be crucified.
Yeah, and you almost
so it's hard. It's hard to break that when it's like you had to learn the hard way how to do shit.
And like you get almost more props if you're like you're drinking beers the whole time that you're doing it and like all that shit, right?
Dude, I hate
so
that.
There's that
I hate
whole
that
culture.
Shit where there's like there's footage of dudes and they have like cigarettes in their mouth. Yeah. And they'll just be holding it in their mouth and do a lead trick and then they just roll away trying to look all cool. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Like there is, don't get me wrong, there's some people that is life. But like when it comes to the ones where it's just like, yo, you don't have to try to be the like, you know,
I was 2 beers in and a shot, like straight out of the bar and did this trick.
Just like trying so hard to be the Baker video guys, like you know what I mean? You're just like, God, no, dude, that was a pocket of time that existed with this crew, and even all of those guys have grown out of it.
Yeah, and they were fucking drug addicts, alcoholics.
Yeah. So don't be trying to recreate. I mean, you can be trying to recreate. Just know what you're trying to recreate. It's not glory.
It's not glory.
You know, and I mean there's like some few people that it works, but very, very rare. But I just think it's rad to see you kind of hit the nail on the head though, like the amount of content and stuff that gets put out that like so much of it just turns into throwaway shit. That's like
the amount of throwaways nuts.
And so I see that with fucking again with everything, right? There's just so much content nowadays that like whether it be music or fucking photography or fucking skating or car shit, right? I just like there's so much stuff that it's like it's more motivation to like just do it now.
People
because you just get lost in the sauce. Like
people are more willing to share, right? So there's less of the like holding it for like a project, and people more just kind of fuck it, put it out. Right?
Yeah, for real, right?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
It's good, man. Gets you stoked on shit.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
Right?
Fucking just like old Bobby Ross, which we started off the podcast with. Which, I mean, it makes sense. When did we find out that? I'm sorry, I'm jumping some guns here, but we were like, "Yo, is Bob Ross dead?" Like we were gonna start the podcast off with fucking the Bob Ross intro, and we started off fucking old Bobby Ross is dead. Something that we probably should have known. I just assumed. I just assumed
for sure.
When did it say that he
90?
Yeah, see that's why
95.
Yeah, back when we didn't have like the internet and like shit wasn't in your face, like you know. But
which I'm surprised it's been that long.
Right?
Yeah.
Fucking time is such a crazy beast, man. Like it's starting to trip me out more and more nowadays. Like for a while I just kind of got over it because I'm like, yeah, it's going, it's doing its thing.
The more I realize every day that thing we talk about when you're like, oh, I saw something like a week ago, and then you realize it was only 2 days ago. There's just so much content, right? That you think shit is like way longer than it's been.
Dude, I saw one of those the other day where I saw a video that I thought was 6 months old or some shit, and it said 3 weeks.
Which is a long time though, like comparatively to like what the amount of stuff that comes out, right?
Yeah, so it's just so crazy, people man. It's just like that's 100% though why I'm just like hopping full into like all the stuff that I want to do, like daily vlogs, adventures, get back into all this shit because it's like time ain't stopping for nobody. I ain't getting any younger, and there's like so much that I want to go do, so it's just like fuck it, let's just like hop in.
Yeah, man.
Hop in and just let the current fucking
a lot of it, you just do it. Fuck it, right? You can't plan too much,
and like that's the coolest thing, like where you see a lot of the best success is just people who have found things they're extremely passionate about and just like went full into it.
Yeah, and like sometimes just reaching out leads to bigger things.
Yes.
And like I've had a couple meetings recently with different people that are in different avenues that I'll bring up later on when I have like the example of what I've done with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, a couple people I've sat down with that I'm working on projects with that will come out soon, and then will come out for next year even. But when I sit down with them and talk to them, get to know them, and I'm like, holy fuck, there's so much that we have in common, and we know so many like the same people, but like finding out more about what these people do and like personal goals I have of doing things, and I'm like, whoa, like these are total puzzle pieces that can fit together.
Right.
Actually, we came together to do this, but like, oh shit, like we could really do this thing that I've been wanting to do as well. And I think
that is
right?
the reality, like the biggest reality of all those situations.
And you realize
is that
how small certain things are, and like you never know like who knows someone that could help you in this field that you didn't even think about. Like,
well, it's
someone's
uncle legitimately
be,
like just a piece in like this massive puzzle.
Yeah,
you think it might just be this like little thing, it turns into a massive mosaic that like everything's just like, oh shit, everything is all intertwined. Like it legitimately is, especially within creators, like or people who I mean, just I'll just use that term, creators, because like anybody who's creating shit, doing something, there's some form of like-minded thread between all of them, and it's so crazy how deep it runs, right?
Like the degree of separation, right?
Yeah, everything's so intertwined, and I think that's why like I've put my biggest fucking focus on this year is that like obviously going all in on my fucking shit that I want to do, but with that it's collaboration.
Yeah, you do collaboration.
You know what I mean?
For real.
Because like you, as you're saying and finding out, and like, or I mean, we'll ever continue to find out. Every new collaborator brings that much more opportunity.
Yeah.
Is that it just like, it just broadens that web, makes that puzzle fucking that much bigger, and you're just kind of like, oh shit, we should all actually be helping each other.
Dude,
right?
It's crazy.
None of this fucking
it's so
defensive
simple.
bullshit.
Yeah, it's so simple, really. That's what it is.
Oh, you're fucking like put up a shield because you're a creator too. No, man, go help that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Go collab with that motherfucker. Like,
yeah, because you do that and then they can help you fucking with this. You never know, right?
It's so fucking
like I went to a birthday party on the weekend, and I was talking to my friend, and he does like the jiu-jitsu training and stuff, right?
I think you remember you mentioned that guy.
He gets a lot of like different people that come in, and so one of the things was like this guy he's training, he trades them in like seafood and stuff. Right? So he's like, rather than paying cash, he gets paid in like spot prawns and like salmon, and he gets way more than what he would in like, you know, monetary value in product. And then he's like, man, he's like, that really opened my eyes to like not just accepting cash for private lessons. He's like, I had a bunch of lights go out at his gym, right? He's like, and I realized one of the guys I train is an electrician, so like I gave him a free lesson to come and fix my lights. And he's like, you never know who knows how to do what. He's like, you give a little bit to them, they give a little bit to you, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that's the perfect example.
That's 100% it, man.
You know?
And like that's like the fucking like old school mentality of doing shit too, where it was like the
barter system.
You're fucking good at something. You find other people that are good at shit. They give you a little hand. They help you out with some shit in return.
Yeah, for real.
Straight up barter system, man. It's the best.
Even like the guy that does my tattoos, like one time I went up just to like, every now and then I go in just to like say what's up, slap some high fives and stuff. But last time I went
some daps.
Last time I went in, he's like, yo man, you've been really fucking like killing it with shit. And he's like, and he brought up to me, he's like, yo man, if you ever want to like do a trade off, he's like, I tattoo you. It's
one of the best feelings,
you do like
man.
A painting or something. And I'm like shit. I was like, you're approaching me about that? I was like, fuck, that's what's up.
Well, that's fucking, that is how my entire fucking sleeve got done.
Because you would record them, right?
Exactly. I recorded my homie's fucking two different EPs of his band. Yeah. And fucking in return, I got my entire fucking sleeve done.
So sick.
Like,
yeah.
So fucking sick. Crazy, right? Like the only shit that I've ever paid for was my hands, my knuckles, and my fucking chest. And my leg. But
and this whole back piece.
Yeah, and my whole fucking back piece. But no, but yeah, it was one of those things where it just like it was such a legitimate feeling of trading a trade for a trade.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just like, oh shit, like this is like,
which is so fucking rare. But like as you're doing it, you're like fucking stoked.
This is the way it should be. Why can't it be like this? Like, why can't we encourage people to be good at things and try to make a fucking living out of it? Like,
it's so rare, and like really, like that's one of the examples I would have used of someone using something for something was I know that you would record them for tattoos. And then like on the coast, when we have like shit that goes wrong, like at our place we had like a water pipe burst,
right,
like where like our hose connects or something randomly that we weren't even using, and just the pipe burst and you know fuck some shit up. But my dad's friend up there is a mechanic. Like he's retired and he's like used to do welding and like so much stuff, right? So my dad was like, oh fuck, he's like, just to let you know, like your pipe burst. And I was like, what? And I was like, how do we fix this? Like what's this gonna cost? And he messaged his friend that lives like a couple blocks away. He came over, checked it out. He cut the pipe and just welded it and fixed it on the spot.
Yeah.
Which would have cost us a couple $100, you know? But my mom was like, oh, thank you so much. And my mom like baked him a cake, like a coffee cake thing. And he was like stoked. So like
that kind of simple fucking gesture doesn't happen anymore. He helps do
like little like handyman like tasks and like things that we wouldn't know how to do like around the house and stuff. And like my mom just like cooks and makes stuff for him like in return. Right, and he's more than stoked, right? He's almost like he's like low key probably like, man, I hope something goes wrong so I can get like some cookies today or some shit.
Like a nice big old baked mac and cheese or some shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But like,
it's the simplest shit like that,
man. We don't necessarily have money to like get shit done, but like he knows how to do something. He likes what someone else does. It's like it's cool.
Well, it comes down to the simplest shit, right? Realistically, like if you can remove all of the other little bullshit, fucking like paying bills and fucking just running after nonsense, running errands and shit like that, like the basic shit should be like have something you're good at, have some hobbies. Like you don't even have to be good at it, just have some hobbies and then have some things that you pursue. You know what I mean? And then in turn you find other people that are eclectic in nature and have some things that they like, and they might be able to help you out with these other things that you're not good at or don't know how to do at all.
Totally.
And then you start to build a community around, like, I don't know, I'm talking about sounds like I'm talking about a goddamn utopia here. 2018, right? But I don't know, that's one thing I really would like. I just want to try to promote more, not that I have a huge audience by any means, but it's just like pursue some shit, get good at some shit. You know what I mean? Like is that fucking sink making a weird noise? Do a little bit of research into finding out that you actually just have to go turn that little thing down on the bottom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't just be like, oh, like, what do I do? Like, or whatever it is, even if it's like, how do you draw? Well, you start with fucking stick figures, or you start with this and then start learning about lighting. You start with, you know what I mean? There's so much information that's out there about
there's
anything.
A starting point.
Yeah, that I feel like we should be less afraid of sucking at things.
Yeah, I feel like, for me at least, I'm not afraid to suck at stuff. But it's like the criticism you get from trying new shit.
Right.
And that ties into what we were talking about earlier about the whole Kanye thing that you wanted to talk about, where he's doing so much shit. And then today I saw it's like, oh, Kanye's wanting to get into like designing like buildings, like architecture and stuff.
I'm trying to remember.
And then people just shit on him because they're like, no way, we know you for this one thing, now you want to start doing this thing. Like, we're gonna fucking shit on you and criticize you for doing this. It's like how he was when he wanted to design clothes and people were like, you're not a fashion designer, like
right?
But you should be, I don't know, stoking people up. Like, fuck yeah, you want to learn something new, like go for it. Why not?
Well, you should just never be afraid to like pursue something because of what somebody else might think. Like, if it's something that you're interested in actually doing, like fucking pursue that shit.
Yeah,
man.
like there's this interview with fucking A$AP Rocky when he's like, since when has it become not cool to try? You know, he's like, you're gonna make fun of someone for trying to do something. Like, suck a dick, you know?
Fuck, I'm trying to remember the one fucking there's one specific quote from Kanye, but it was essentially just like saying like, I'm doing what everybody, or like I'm doing what everybody else would like to be doing or some shit like that, but the only difference is I'm not afraid to look stupid. You know what I mean? Like, it's
one
like
of his tweets recently.
Yeah, I don't even remember where this one came from, but it was essentially just like, and that's probably not, I probably butchered it, but essentially just being like, we should all just be like not afraid to have our own opinion and be like into what we like and dress the way you want to fucking dress, do whatever the fuck you want to do, and realize that if you fucking feel like an idiot or somebody's making you feel like an idiot, that's probably their insecurities. Most, not even probably, that is their insecurities of like them just being like of them being like, oh, I can't step outside of this stylistic box because people will question me, and if people come up with questions, then I'll have to think for myself and come up with answers, and you know, and
I don't know if I can back up my thought.
So it's just like you almost have to just hop in and look stupid as fuck for a bit and then just embrace it. You know what I mean?
Because fuck it, I tried it.
Yeah.
Didn't work out.
For real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think like I definitely had a point like that when I was younger where I was like, oh, people are just gonna like try to make fun of me. So I'll like beat them to the punch and then like one up the game with like the expectation.
It's almost you got to call yourself out before they do, so they can't use it against you.
Well, it's like, but it's not even calling yourself out too. It's like embracing calling yourself out.
I failed. I sucked at this.
Yeah, I sucked at this, blah, 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 this, and this.
Funny?
And they're like,
so it's like now they can't make fun of you.
Yeah, so they don't have the strength of trying to make fun of you, so that you kind of broke that barrier. And then on top of that, then you like just like say some shit that you're into or what you've been up to, or just being honest. And they're like, so how's the weather? You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Like,
and then they just like, what are you gonna say to that?
You're just like, oh, yeah.
They don't have that power over you. Right?
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting, man. Like, it's just, I don't know, this getting old shit. I keep coming back to this one thing, is that like we have some data now. You know what I mean? You got a couple,
and collectively you could put multiple people together in a room, right?
Yeah. Yo, let's lay this out on a table. What do you got over there? Fucking, oh shit. Okay, all right.
You did 2 years of coding. What you did, you know, a year of this. You did
2 years of codeine.
Coding.
Well, that was the funny thing. Like, I called my mom out on that the other day about just kind of like the importance of what life should actually be about. And because she was like talking about when Afro came through town, and he was talking about how his 9-year-old kid is already fucking coding. Got picked up by fucking UVic or whatever the university is over there to help them construct a course for younger kids to get into coding. He's 9 years old.
That's so fucked.
He's fucking 9 years old.
That's so fucked.
And Afro's telling this to my parents, and they're like going like, like mind blown shit. And then first thing my mom says is she goes, oh, he better make you a lot of money. I just went,
he better?
Yeah.
He better make you a lot of money.
Yeah, he better make you a lot of money.
Why he better?
You better hope he makes you a lot of money, like, because he's good at something. So he like just
so exploit his talent.
Yeah, so it has to be about money, even though he's only 9 years old and he's good at something. It's like, no, like you
gotta think, right? Your mom, banker,
37 years, dude. It's so funny. Like, I still see the shit where she's recently,
that's like her fallback of looking at stuff is like to make money off of something.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of even the sense of like, I'll still see her fucking doing number stuff, and because like that's all she knew when she was working, right? So she's still occupying that portion of her brain, where I'll kind of even look at her like, you're still doing that shit, like the same as somebody that's like, you went skating for 2 hours, but it's like that's what she occupies her time with. And it's like, I want to get her back into like fucking like sewing or fucking like cross stitching or some shit. But like, you start to see, again, it's that compiled data where you know people, you fucking look at your collective community, look at your family, your friends, and you have some data, a large amount of data, if you actually fucking are willing to analyze it and be like,
reach out and
you know, what punch card should I fucking fill out and put into the machine and see if it works, you know, like,
dude,
fuck.
It's like having a team, right? So you got people that thrive with certain talents, you know. It's like you can pull from a little bit of everyone to like get something done. You know,
let's see if I can find this
rather than having to hire someone or whatever.
Well, that was my downfall over the last fucking 6 years. Was I was trying to be 10 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where like I had to realize that like, yo, no, I have some specific talents and other things that I could be good at. Like, I mean, I realistically, I have the belief that like, no matter what I like, if I put myself in any situation, I could get good at it. Like, I legitimately feel that.
Yeah.
But I just,
as long as you give whatever it is like the respect it deserves and the time to learn it, it's like
100%.
you can do it.
But with that is like, you have to realize how much time you have in a day mixed with fucking
juggling life,
dude, just juggling life and shit. And then from there it's like find the fucking balance. And I think that's where I'm finally at fucking 31 of like doing this kind of shit of like, oh let me find something that I can actually like, you know. But I'm like finally kombucha burping forever. I'm like really rooted and can actually say like what I want to do for the rest of my life, which is like a crazy feeling. Like,
yeah.
And the most fucked up part about it.
And how stoked are you that you've come to that realization?
Well, extremely fucking stoked. Right? But the reason why I'm so fucking extremely mind-blowingly stoked about it is because it's everything that I've worked for my entire life and have been into since I was fucking 5 years old. I've just like built up these steps of random little things, trying out new things, but each thing along the way has been that belt utility. Yeah, like,
exactly, right.
You know, to the point now where I just like, okay, now how do I fucking like, what is the best thing to use now, you know, to get to this next step? And I realized the biggest part of that was throwing myself headfirst into new territory once again. Because, you know, it started getting a bit comfortable and complacent what I was doing there for a bit and this other stuff. And it's just like, okay, how do I grow then again? How did I grow that last big leap? Yeah. I just fucking hopped in. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, all right, fine. I'm going to just fucking start running my own business and doing all this other shit off of stuff that I do, and gave it 110%.
As you should. As
you should, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I got to try to find this fucking one article for our news thing today, but yeah, it's super intriguing though, because like skating, like any other fucking practice that we've ever done, just because you have the crazy passion for it, you've seen the direct results out of everything that you put into it. You know what I'm saying? So like,
for sure,
I want to that's where I came to this pinhead now, where I want to fully attach that towards like my dreams of what I want to do for my life. Because I don't feel I've ever fully done it. You know what I mean? There's always been this like worry.
Yeah.
Or like backup plan shit, or like whatever it is, you know? Where now I'm just
well, your whole life you're always told like you need to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
What if that doesn't work out?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I'm like, I'm gonna have a badass.
Failing is not an option.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a badass life where I literally don't know what's around the corner. Like, that's what I want. You know what I mean? I love that shit.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the exciting factor. It shouldn't be the scary factor, right? You should be excited that you don't know what's coming.
Yeah, not exactly, man. That was my fucking... I started listening to a bunch of... I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast a couple ago, but I started listening to a bunch of Alan Watts. This philosopher from the 60s. And one of my favorite quotes is that you don't want a predictable future. You've already had that. What you want is a surprise. And it's just like, oh.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, I do want a surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise me.
Yeah, right? Yeah. For real. Like when like you're built up wanting a surprise through the early ages of elementary school and shit like that. You know, the surprise of life. You can be whatever you want kind of thing. And then all of a sudden around like grade 5 to 6, it's like start being like, okay, start being able to predict the next 30 years. You need
to start thinking about what it is.
Yeah, you have to predict what you need a predictable future. The next 30 years, you have to be able to be like, douche, gadoosh, good to douche, good to douche. You know what I mean? And it's just like, where was that fucking switch change? Like,
totally.
You know, like,
what's this article?
So fucking Kanye, our boy, is recently fucking come back to Twitter, as everybody obviously knows now, because fucking
it's shared by
anybody
everyone.
Ever that like doesn't fucking have a creative input. So they just like you go on Instagram or anywhere nowadays, and it's straight up
people reposting or
repost.
retweeting.
Repost. I'm just trying to fucking.
I saw one yesterday. It made me laugh. I got like my phone lit up. I looked down. So I don't go on Twitter that much.
Yeah.
So every now and again, I'll get a thing like, oh, you may like or you missed this post, and it will show me. And it was like yesterday.
Oh, there it is.
It popped. I was like, Kanye tweeted, "It's like naps are awesome." I just laughed. I was like, man, that's hilarious.
That's
I was
like
they
my,
are awesome.
My favorite fucking lyric of the last fucking the decade or whatever. Oh, what the fuck? Why is this thing going so slow? Actually, I'll just read it off my fucking phone. Fuck this. Oh, now it fucking loads up. I'm just worried that it's gonna fuck with the stream here.
The seamlessness of tech.
What was I fucking talking about?
Your favorite quote?
Oh yeah. From fucking Rich Brian. Used to be Rich Chigga. It's just, I don't take drugs. I just take naps. It's just like, thank you. Like in a world of just like rapping about drugs and like everything under the sun of like input shit. So I'm gonna read this off my phone here because the online internet was being fucking ridiculous. So where to start with this whole fucking thing?
Yeah, right.
I mean, like,
where do you start? So much.
There's literally so much with this. So it gets into this crazy conspiracy that's going on now that this whole fucking thing that's been going on recently is in fact actually
promo?
No. Well, yes, but it's a performance art piece. And what he's been doing, because it's been fucking okay, so this gets into some shit. So fucking essentially Kanye has been dropping all these references. Oh, man, I almost have to look at this on here because it has a bunch of fucking
examples linked with it.
Yeah.
Like video clips and stuff, maybe?
No, just like showing his tweets and stuff. But essentially he was dropping a bunch of hint tweets of like his inspirations and people that he looked up to and stuff. And these people that he was looking up to, these are some of his initial tweets before they got buried in all the madness, right? And it was like these people who were performance artists. There was one, his name was David Hammonds, who was known for basically doing performance art pieces and taking where would be the full thing on this here. David Hammonds, I think is here we go. When it comes to David Hammonds, I think here's the obvious interpretation that it's about reappropriating the MAGA hat, the Make America Great Again, because he started wearing that hat recently, right? But I think it's deeper, more in line with what he's actually been saying. His deeper point is about reshaping the idea of what it means to be black in America. More precisely, removing the idea that there is a definition of what it means to be black. He feels that black kids need to be taught from a positive message about their future, rather than a complete focus on their past. His performance is to show the importance of education/teaching on the entry level for the beliefs that you have about yourself and of the world. And then it says Kanye mentions Obama and Virgil as setting examples for what's possible. When Virgil got the Louis Vuitton job, Tremaine tweeted the announcement of tweeted his announcement with the same spade emoji. And the spade, when he retweeted Kanye's David Hammond's higher goals, David Hammond was known for back in the day for doing these performance art pieces with spades, which were at the time used as a racial slur for black people. So he wanted to appropriate spades to become like a positive fucking term for black people and things of that nature, and like kind of reappropriating it as theirs. So we turn these like crazy art pieces and stuff. And then he found this other guy that where was it? It goes, there's so much on here.
Yeah, I can imagine how fucking deep you gotta go.
Yeah, so the idea acts as a trick and reappropriating of a racist symbol, an emoji of someone wearing a cowboy hat, the MAGA hat.
Is it kind of like when he wore that jacket, had like the Confederate?
That's exactly what it gets into here.
Okay, yeah,
where he was just kind of like, no, this is my flag now.
Yeah,
So they're kind of hinting at that he's done this before, and that he's just like not afraid to, this is part of the like he's not afraid to look stupid kind of thing, right? He's got an idea and he's doing it for something for the greater big of it, but he's like not afraid to make himself look like a fucking retard in the moment. So but then it gets into like crazy Man, this is the tweet blast that I found about it was way better than this.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a performance thing. Knowing Kanye, like,
yeah, but then it gets into this other one that he tweeted. The inspiration board had that David Hammons guy had this other guy that did this performance art piece where he locked himself in a room with a coyote for 3 days, a wild coyote, and fucking the coyote for like the first like fucking 6 hours was being all wily and fucking growling at him and shit.
Wily, yeah.
Yeah. Well, wily coyote action, and fucking and he's doing he's doing some crazy shit and like doing some like shepherd shit where he's like putting himself in a big blanket and holding the big shepherd's cane up above his head, and he eventually like tames the beast, and that's where fucking I forget what was the name of.
What is that? Like, how old is that?
This one's in like the fucking
50s or something. Like, is it really old?
Yeah. See, this is why I need to find this guy's fucking.
There's like one post you're looking for where it had everything broken down with the examples and shit.
Yeah, I think this is. Here we go. Here we go.
It's crazy too, though. Like
so yeah, and it gets really fucked up though. So the whole fucked up thing where this guy did the research into the back end of it is that clearly there's so much going on that it couldn't all just be orchestrated by Kanye. So there's like this whole team of people, and they've been showing that he's been having these meetings.
Yeah, you almost have to, man. Like, how can one person reference and know all this shit?
Yeah. So it's almost like there's a team of people that are utilizing his a bit like his grandstanding ability, his influence per se, you know, to be able to get to a bigger point,
his reach,
and being able to create a conversation amongst people to like start actually questioning shit and being like, yo, like, you know, like this needs to be talked about. We need to like start spreading more love. We need to start thinking about a better future. We need to start thinking about all this shit. So okay, so here I'm just gonna read off these tweets because it summarizes really well.
And these tweets are the guy
that like
that's diving into Kanye stuff.
I don't know if he was the initial one, but he goes, "Get your tinfoil hats and red string. I've got a conspiracy theory. Kanye West is in the middle of a performance art piece, and the clues are right in front of us." And then here's the whole thread. So essentially, he goes, "First, we need to establish who Denim Tears is. Forgive me, this is well-known info. I'm not great." And Denim Tears, that's his Twitter handle. I'm not great at keeping up with every celebrity. His name is Tremaine Emery. He's a collaborator and a friend of Kanye. I don't know if you recognize that guy. Yeah, he's been around the scene a lot. I don't know who he is, but I've just like seen him in a lot of shit.
His face for sure.
Yeah, and then so number 2. Last night Kanye tweeted this picture. This appears to be Tremaine at the table. We also know from a previous tweet where Tremaine that he's in Calabasas where Kanye lives. So there's them all collaborating at a meeting. There's that homie right there.
Right.
Chilling. And then here's his tweet. It's very surreal in Calabasas right now. That's a good thing. And so he's there. There's these big meetings going on. This is right when the shit's going on. Plans. Exactly. So Kanye also mentioned in the interview with Charlemagne the God, my boy Tremaine tweeted, and then it goes, so we can assume that he's both friends with Tremaine and looks at his Twitter account. And I promise you, this info will be important coming up.
Which that interview with Charlemagne, have you seen it?
I haven't watched it yet.
It's really like an hour and 45 minutes or something.
I've just been waiting to have a
Honestly, it was so good, and I wish it was longer. I know that sounds crazy to say, if for it being an hour and 45 minutes, that I wish it was longer, but fuck, it was so good because he really gave Kanye that time to make his outlandish statements, which people attack. So he would make his statements, but then he would give you the information to back up his thought process. Right. So it was a really good interview.
Well, that's the thing with the media. We only ever get a snippet.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like out of context shit. And this was like really him hanging out, explaining shit. And I was like, fuck, like I'm always on Team Kanye, you know, as we are. And, you know,
and it's funny too, because I came from the social media end of only knowing the hate and even at one point completely hating Kanye because that's what I was told to do.
Yeah. You know so this, I was like, fuck yes, this is for like the people that like Kanye. They're going to be like, this is now something we can use to show
fuel
people
for the
like,
fire. Yeah.
Like, look at how great he really is. And like, he does have meaning and thought behind shit. This is the evidence, right?
So so then he goes, A week or so after rejoining Twitter, Kanye tweeted these images on 4/22. The first 2 images involved David Hammons, which is the guy that I brought up, and the third and fourth involved Joseph Baez. So David Hammons, this is This is the guy here, known for doing like all these performance art pieces and stuff like that, and trying to appropriate the spade term. And so Kanye is tweeting out these photos. David Hammond's Higher Goals. This is one of his art pieces where it was a spade up on the top of like this whole big tower of stuff. And then Joseph Baez, which was another guy that did the coyote thing.
Okay.
So he tweets this out, and he's tweeting out images of this shit. Like saying these are goals.
Yeah, yeah. And
right?
so for most people, probably like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
is
just going, who the fuck? Yeah, okay, whatever. So then he goes.
But then think about how many, like his reach, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, it's almost like these subliminal things. He's like sending to people to be like, see if people can decipher this cryptic shit.
Yeah, like
you know what I mean?
And it gets crazy too, because he starts like saying shit like that, where he like almost like putting it right in front, or he starts to go, so let's start with the first two images.
Like he's
involving...
not coming out to say it. He's giving you the hints. Yeah, he's like,
right?
The real ones will look deep, right?
So he says, let's start with the two first images involving David Hammonds. After Kanye tweeted these images, Tremaine, quote, tweeted them with this emoji, the spade. I believe this is referring to Hammond's work aimed to turn racist cliches spade on its head. And so that was the retweets here, and then he's retweeting a bunch of spade stuff, and then he retweets the quote that has the whole thing about Hammond's, and it goes, as for the other two images of Joseph Baez, the Kanye image tweeted from an art installation Baez did in 1974 called I Like America and America Likes Me, and that was the coyote one. I like America and America likes me, where you get put into a room with a wild beast and you get confronted with him and try to tame the beast to understand him. And then so the purpose of this performance with a coyote, a wild spirit often thought of as America's untamed spirit, was hopefully make the coyote tolerant and acceptable through Baez's desire to heal. So Kanye tweeting out photos of this shit, and it gives he starts giving the whole back end of it.
Okay.
I believe Kanye is doing a modern take on Baez's piece with the coyote. He's embraced what might be considered the coyote of today. Gotten close to Trump, Candace Owens, alt-right. Maybe he sees this as a better chance to tame the coyote than more traditional methods. So this guy's like starting to like get into some shit. You're kind of like, ooh, this is maybe a little conspiracy-ish.
Yeah, but, it is. Yeah,
you know,
definitely a theory.
But Kanye would get called out for doing something that's already been done or taking someone else's ideas. Maybe not if he explained himself first. So then Kanye put out these tweets. Too much emphasis is put on originality. Feel free to take ideas and update them at your will. All great artists take and update.
Yeah.
Let's be less concerned with ownership of ideas. It is more important that ideas see the light of day even if you don't get credit for them. Let's be less concerned with credit towards the external validation. It's not where you take things from, it's where you take them to. So he's kind of like hinting up the shit that like it's okay to like ride on other people, like would take these other people's performance art, update them a bit, right? So to me, there were two clues that are most important. The first one is that this tweet from Kanye, this picture posted 6 days after the others, again shows Boyce Hammonds and now introduced what's to be a drawing of Andy Kaufman.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
yeah.
So now he's showing that like he's performance artists. Look, I'm really into performance artists. I wonder why.
Interesting.
So then it's like it just keeps going
so deep, man.
And it's just like, and anybody that's familiar with Andy Kaufman, he was a performance artist, would put himself in uncomfortable situations, which we've talked about Man on the Moon many times. Like one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
like,
and the fucking what's his name? The Tony
Hinchcliffe. No, not Tony Hinchcliffe. Tony.
Yeah, the character he made up.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
What the fuck was his name? Tony.
Oh man. Anyways, yeah. Clifton. Yes. Right as I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah.
He's like, no, Clifton. Right. So anyways, it starts to go this kind of shit, and then he starts to go say like, why is this important? Just talks about how he's on his mood board, and that like that he's hinting that all these performance artists are like part of his fucking mood board, and that, you know, trying to get people to think about some shit. So he goes, maybe having a picture or book of Andy would be too obvious. A rough drawing on his first name is obviously more subtle. So this picture would be so So in this picture, you have performance artists who tamed a wild creature by showing you love and compassion, an artist who took a racist symbol and flipped it to give it new meaning, and a performance artist who wrestled women and generally acted insane in the public eye and rarely broke character. So then the other most important clue of all is that Tremaine, that denim guy with the we're talking about, he retweets that with the quote, "The Prestige," with the fucking spade, the juggler, the cowboy, and the wrestler. And the prestige is a magician's term that's used for the whole turnaround of the whole act, right? So then he starts getting into like what, like the just basically the spade represents the MAGA hat. The juggler could represent Kanye pulling a trick or maybe juggling a lot of things. The cowboy hat representing a coyote, and then the wrestling representing Kaufman. So like this, it starts to go deep, dude. It starts to go deep. Like, so then going with this
time this guy's put into this is holy fuck.
Oh, it's crazy.
Because he's like, these are theories he's having, but he's searching.
He's searching, doing the thing, and then making it into digestible form on Twitter. Like I've never seen a theory represented like this. It's so good.
He's like giving you the examples to validate his theory.
Yeah. So then he goes into like the whole explanation of what the prestige is and how it's like a direct reference from like, well, not necessarily the movie itself, but it brings out the movie and how it shows you visually the representation of the steps of the trick, right? So he just goes through all this stuff, and then like
but the more that he's explaining, giving you examples, the more this is really making sense.
Yeah. So then he brings up the jacket that you're talking about. Yeah. Also, Kanye is no stranger to taking a perceived racist symbol and attempting to flip it like Hammond's. In 2013, he sported a Confederate flag and commented on its meaning, saying like
on that bomber jacket.
Yeah. So then they just they bring the correlation of those two. So then where does it keep? It just keeps going, man. So the whole thing is that like the summary of it is that Kanye is trying to bring these old performance arts to light with new ideas to bring forward the conversation, and almost holding up a mirror to public of like the same shit that I always kind of talk about, the personal reflection shit. When you hear somebody like complain about you, that's actually them complaining about themselves. So when now all of these racist things, now everybody starts complaining about Kanye being insane, and it's just like straight up like a mirror being held up to the public, right? So now there's like all this shit that's being talked about, and it just fucking like it just keeps fucking going, right?
What do you think about it though overall? Like, what do you think's going on? Do you think this is kind of what it is? Like, do you think there's truth behind this?
I kind of.
What do you think Kanye's doing?
Because I actually legitimately turned notifications on when Kanye hopped back on Twitter, so I get a notification every time he tweets. You
texted me and you're like, "Yo, Kanye's back on Twitter," and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's so good because it was like
I was like, "Yo."
I get the direct tweet from him, and then I get to immediately see the just social media flood reaction to it.
The internet break.
Yeah, because I'm like well immersed in like the internet like nonsense. Oh, yeah. And so then I just start to see it, and it's just like everybody that doesn't have an input on anything or like a creative output is just like this, hey. And they give you a small snippet of it and like no full story shit.
Link in bio.
Yeah. Right?
Click on our shit to find out.
I just kind of started scrolling through this a bit more, and Tremaine had tweeted, "Let's play Twister, let's play Risk." Yeah, which is the lyrics from REM's song 4 Man on the Moon. And then like it starts going, and then Kanye like literally says, "They're literally giving us answers. We just have to look for them now." So Kanye says, "Question everything. The world is our office. I've always had a desire to do things people wouldn't even think to do." And then a lie is the window of truth, or is it the other way around? And so that's from the other guy. So it's just like, and then hang on a second.
Just like this grand scheme going on, eh?
Yeah. And so the end of installment, Baze hugged the coyote. At TMZ, Kanye hugged Van Lathan and said, "I think we have to get next to everyone." He also noted the definition of insanity as doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So now he's just like trying some fucking, grandiose at the end of it. He's got an album coming out.
The definition of insanity?
The definition of insanity is doing something over and over again and expecting a different result. It's 100% insanity.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. When I found that out, I was like, oh, that's why I'm such a proponent of change too.
It seems like one of those things where it's like you're so familiar with the word but it's like it's so watered down that at the end of the day you're like, what does insane really mean?
Yeah.
Interesting.
The process of doing something over and over again and expecting a different result. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And it makes so much sense too. And it's like, oh damn.
It's so like you would expect it to be more complicated than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess simply put, right?
So after him saying that, like following the definition, he said, if we keep saying I hate you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, how are we going to get a different result with hate? Why don't we just try love? So like there's been an onslaught of hating this, hating the president, hating fucking everybody.
The love thing too, right? Because when he tweeted his new album cover, it's the picture of the doctor that performed the last surgery on his mom. When his mom passed away, and he's like, I'm done hating.
Which is a crazy story on its own.
And he's talking about, he's like, oh, I just want to not hate and love.
So this guy throws a summary, and he says, maybe most importantly, he said, I know I disappointed the black community when I wore the hat, but I just told J. Cole on the phone it's a bigger plan, and I'm just doing what the universe told me.
Yeah, I remember hearing that one.
Yeah. So as I said, Kanye is doing a modern take on I Like America and America Likes Me, the whole Coyote situation. So it's like putting the hat on, getting close to Trump, this whole fucking shit. Like it's
the prestige. I'm like, look it over here, right?
Yeah.
But wait till I reveal what's really going on.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like I said, I was about to say.
That's such a mind fuck.
Isn't it?
Holy shit.
Yeah, there's some shit with that one where you're just like, damn, like. And then everybody just
that's like
now that
people are gonna have their fucking feet in their mouth, man.
Oh yeah, but the funny thing is now this came out though. Now a lot of those people are calling him even crazier, and that people who think that this might be a possibility are fucking insane too.
So people that believe it they think they're insane.
Yeah. So you're just like, wow, all right, okay. Well, I'm kind of on board with it. Like I think this is shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and that was even the other thing too, that like. When you start to see behind the scenes stuff, and like we grew up in the era of like reality TV first coming out, and you start to realize the bubble get burst on like that 99.9% of that is all a front and an act.
Yeah.
And then when you hear like Paris Hilton talk, and she's like a well-adversed, smart individual who has like a normal fucking speaking voice, and then our show, oh my God, that's hot. And like, she just played a character.
Yeah.
She played a character.
Gave you what you wanted to see.
Gave you what you wanted to see, and what all the haters wanted to hear, so they could talk about it and the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, right? When about what's going on with Kanye, people are talking about they think it's like the Kardashians' effect on Kanye.
Yeah.
They're masters of staying in the light.
For sure.
When they start to dwindle and they don't have an impact, then they always find a way to come back into social media and where people talk about them, and they think that this is like them fucking with him.
Yeah.
In order to just keep that buzz going.
Which the fucked up thing is I followed, when I was still using Snapchat, I ended up following Kim Kardashian because like I heard that you would randomly see her like snap photos of like unreleased Yeezys and stuff. So I was like, yo, I want to see that.
Yeah.
But then once I started watching it, I'm like, yo, this is a normal fucking girl who's a mom now, and she's like baking shit for her kids and like learning how to cook
she's
shit.
Like
and
really smart.
Yeah.
She's a really smart businesswoman.
Exactly. So then you start to see the back end of it, and you're like, oh, playing a character. Yeah. Oh, you're giving the media exactly what they want. That's how you're still relevant. Like,
right?
You're darn smart. Like I know some people would
made $1 million a minute.
Yeah, some people were gonna like, I would get shit on this for even saying that a Kardashian is smart, but like I don't give a fuck because they are. Like, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I was talking about earlier? How about sometimes you gotta be not afraid to look stupid? That's me right now. They're smart as fuck. Like, and I think that there is actually a bit of a bigger plan with this whole Kanye thing going on right now, because like,
who knows, man? I mean, there's like a fuck ton of music coming out, right? And I mean, it's like any promo is good promo, as they say.
For sure, yeah. But like when you start doing like these certain controversial things where you like, surely you know they're gonna get blown up and get brought a certain way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like
specifically with Kanye's label, Good Music.
Right.
You have May 25th, Pusha T's album's coming out. June 1st, you have Kanye's album coming out. June 7th, you have Kanye Kid Cudi album coming out.
Which also has a movie coming out with it too, apparently.
June 22nd, you have Tiana Taylor coming out. These are all good music artists.
Yeah. Homie's been grinding,
That's
man.
fucked.
And dude, there's even like been some like cool shit too, where like there was a video that got released of like it was a TMZ guy that approached him trying to like give you the sensationalism, like paparazzi. I don't know if it was TMZ, but it was like the paparazzi like sensationalism video thing, like, Kanye, what do you think about everybody thinking that you're fucking insane?
Oh, like at the airport type shit?
No, it was him just like walking outside of his office with his bodyguards. He was like on the phone with Kim, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna call you back. Like, just like, he's like, doesn't give the guy the reaction that he was expecting, kind of like that.
Wants him to punch him in the face,
or yell at him, or yo man, get a fucking life, I'm trying to talk to my wife, kind of thing, or whatever, right? You know, literally what I was talking about before, the A plus B equals C. The guy's expecting
like,
C.
I'm gonna try to push his buttons to get, and all of a sudden
Kanye's like, yo man, I just, you know, like let's talk for a minute. And he's just like starts talking to him. He's like, yo, so I really want to say, like, I respect you for doing this. I'm sure you get a lot of fucking hate for being a paparazzi, people shitting all the time, but like, you have kids, man. And he's like, yeah, I do. He's like, man, see, like, that's the unsung hero shit right there. He's like, you're out here doing this to feed your kids, man. I love that. I respect you so much for that shit. Like, the fact that you're out here grinding
like,
while getting shit on to feed your kids, but this is probably something you enjoy doing, and like just went on this rant, and then he's just like,
I'm doing the same. And
and then all of a sudden this guy starts like big upping Kanye and being like, yo, like, thank you, like, and then like Kanye was like, can you post this video, like, because at first he was like, yo, you recording still? And he was like, yeah, and he like went to go turn it off. He's like, no, I want you to post that video. I'm like, can I give you a hug? And then he's like, gives the guy a hug, and then that's like the end of the confrontation, where it's just it's the all love thing. Get close to the coyote. Like, what's more of a coyote to the fucking celebrities? Paparazzi hiding outside your house waiting for any little scrap, right?
Yeah.
And you're just like, yo man, you're a dad too, I love you, I'm a dad, fucking what up, dad club. You know, like, so just even on that vibe, like, whether it is as deep as that guy went on the fucking whole thing, like, I'm down for fucking showing all love and like fucking promoting creativity and just like people doing shit for the good, you know. So it's pretty interesting.
Just trying to get by.
Yeah. Let's just stop shitting on people for trying to do shit, whatever that is. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. It's pretty fucking interesting. I feel like we're finally on I don't know, it may be too early to say, but I feel like we're on a swing of positivity with a bunch of other shit. Like last year with YouTube and stuff, like, was like such a mess with the adpocalypse and like it just like a bunch of like the main positive daily vloggers all kind of like dropping out, Casey dropping out, Jesse dropping out, all these other people that were an influence of inspiration and stuff. And it's
like a revamp now.
Yeah, and it was like last year was all filled with like the Jake Paulers and all that like pranks. There was still like the fizzle out of prank shit. So it was like this weird moot point of everybody just trying to ride off of controversy and hate. Where now a whole, like, Casey's back, fucking John Hill's back on doing daily vlogs. A bunch of people are just back on this like creativity, positivity train. And I feel like there's like, we're on a cusp of a movement of that. I swear. Like, at least I hope, you know.
Yeah. That's what you're paying attention to.
Yeah. So.
No, I feel that for sure.
It'd be good, man. It'd be fucking good. People started realizing that, like, okay, we can do more if we stop hating. Stop hating. Insert fucking
simple. Simple.
What's her name? Whoa, Vicky. Oh my god. You know the Catch Me Outside girl? And then there was the other really bad version of her that was like this retarded white girl that like thinks she's black and like, anyways, that's deep internet shit.
I think
it's deep internet.
Yeah,
shit.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, some fucking
Catch Me Outside. That's the bad fucking
Bad Baby or whatever.
Okay, is it Baby?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard them fucking say it.
That's her fucking name, eh?
Yeah.
Did you see that shit when her name's like on the Billboard list of like? Oh my god.
Yeah. So
at that moment, I was like, it's a popularity contest. It's
100%.
Numbers.
Everything is.
Clearly.
Everything is, yeah.
I was like, otherwise there's no way this chick would be on lists next to Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Like, do you think I would almost be like, embarrassed if I was her that I was even on that list, where I would feel like I'm not good enough. Like I haven't provided enough content.
No, man, you're fucking 12 years old. You know how fucking jazzed you'd be?
She's not 12, is she?
Yeah. Or she's like 13 now. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Look this shit up, dude. I thought she's like 17 or 16.
She's young as fuck.
Is she actually that young? She can't be, man.
Born 2013, so that...
Born 2013? Shut the fuck up.
That's what it says. Born March 26, 2003. Sorry.
Oh,
2003. 2013.
Or her character was born 2013.
Yeah. So what is that? That's fucking 15 years old right now.
Jesus Christ.
So she was 12 or like 13 when she broke out, yeah.
What?
Or no, 14 when she broke out then, yeah, because it was only a year ago. But yeah, you're 15 and you're on the billboard. You're not going to be thinking about deeper things of how do I deserve to be on here.
That's fucked.
You're going to be like...
It was kind of like... I remember...
Oh, shit.
I think it was the Grammys a few years ago. When... what's his name? Fucking totally drawing a blank. White rapper from Seattle. Buzzed head, slick back hair. It was a duo, and then he kind of did his own thing.
I don't know. Fuck. Seattle rapper.
What the fuck is his name? Never mind.
Yeah, I don't know.
Forget it.
All right.
I was shocked to see her name on that list.
Right.
What?
Well, it's and then fucking it comes into that other shit crazy, nowadays where it's like it's a popularity contest, and the same thing goes with like the YouTube scene. You start to see
discouraging, man.
In a way, for sure. I could definitely see that fucking, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, man. I like I say, we're starting to see a move from all that stuff though, like just even through the way that YouTube's been adapting and shit like that, and like it's been removing a lot of these people that were riding off of the controversy stuff or the drama shit, and now all of a sudden that stuff's no longer even allowed on YouTube. So like they can't monetize it, so they're not making the money, so like they rode that avenue for the minute that it was available, but the longevity isn't there, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's interesting times, man, with how fast everything is fucking moving. And like, well, we joke about fucking Yodel Kid. Week later, he's got to deal with. He played Coachella.
Yeah. Like, and he signed a deal with some.
Yeah, or some other shit.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like,
some...
and then within 3 more weeks, he's not even gonna be relevant.
Who knows?
You know. So like, well, it's just the way shit goes now. Like fucking. It's so fast.
Dude, yeah,
there's so much shit going on.
It's so hard to keep up with shit, man.
Well, dude, here's a fucking crazy one of the times. Fucking Gibson Guitars just filed for bankruptcy. They're $500 million in debt. Yeah. Holy fuck. Sign of the times, my friend. Sign of the times.
Toys R Us
gone. Fucking all like just major corporation things that we used to know as like.
How is that? Do you think they just fucked up along the way?
They at a certain point didn't adapt. They kept what Gibson did forever was they rode off of their previous success, their guitars that came out in the goddamn 40s, you know, so they had their big first boom, and they were known because they would build amazing quality guitars, the finest quality woods with the finest quality craftsmanship, and the guitars would end up costing, you know, $3,500 to $5,000.
Yeah, and then you have these huge fucking celebrities that are backing them, these rock stars. Right.
But then when all of a sudden that's kind of like stays at this level, but you're not doing anything to broaden out the spectrum or pursue new things. All of a sudden, you're still just that same Les Paul for fucking 60 years. You know what I mean? Like at a certain point, you have to adapt, find new artists, find fucking, you know what I mean? And that was where come in.
I remembered his name. Continue.
Oh, okay, fucking. But yeah, just the simple shit that's just like sign of the times that you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to run with shit, and like. That it's no longer, I don't think we are in a land of massive corporations being able to run everything anymore. I think we're going to start seeing a bunch of that stuff dissolve. Like for a while, we'll start to see a bunch of those like 10 or 7 major corporations dwindle down as they fucking run even more, the few that remain. but we're starting to see a lot of smaller companies start to be able to thrive. Like, you know what I mean? Like YouTube musicians that are fucking starting their own guitar companies and doing well, you know, to Zach Wilde, who used to play fucking Gibson and Marshall. Zach Wilde now has
he was the Aussie.
Yeah, Aussie's guitarist and shit. Black Whip Society.
He had the guitar with like
the bullseye.
Yeah.
I had one of the Epiphone ones for a good while. Loved that guitar. Pissed I sold it, especially now that fucking Gibson's going under. But like a couple years back, he started his own guitar company and his own amp company, and like just
wow.
Yeah, like
that's awesome.
Literally, like a lot of people are starting to realize that they can do shit themselves. So it's kind of like, it's just, again, this weird sign of the times. That,
it's just a way of figuring out how, right?
Yeah.
You just need to figure out the how.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Find your avenue, find out what kind of reach you have and like what you're good at. And then like people will be there. Because, you know, as much as there is everybody hating on everybody doing shit, there's like people that are so stoked that people are actually doing shit. Because like whether they do stuff themselves or they're just like living vicariously through that person.
100%.
You know, that's a big one. And that I fucking
people like to see people win, man.
Hell yeah. Dude, it's such shit that I've always had ever since I was a kid, when like you see somebody that like has worked so hard. Like it'd be like watching fucking, I don't even know fucking what I use to reference, but like I was watching a drifting video a while ago where these guys, it was their dream to go to Japan and drift these Drift My Hand, this legendary track, like that they would rebuild it in all their racing fucking simulators. They would rebuild it. They would rebuild the track at all their local tracks, and like
it's in Japan.
Yeah. Fuck, we'll go there one day.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm 100 going there. Yeah. So fucking like we would recreate this track with RC. Like we would do this in our fucking drifting simulators all the time. They flew their cars over there for an event. Yeah. What? So when I was watching this video and they finally started to get to drift it, I got a little fucking misty eyed.
How much did that cost?
Fuck, it doesn't get that crazy when like you just rent a container. You just rent a container and you can put 2 cars in it. You and your homie pay for it. All your cars, parts, your tires and shit, get it put in there.
But you're paying by weight.
I think when it goes, is it by weight or is it by container?
100%. It's size and weight. So there's probably a flat rate for the container.
Yeah.
And then additional for
sure
the pounds.
Yeah. Well, because the guys
stuff is by weight, and
the guys it's been the reverse for a long time, where the Japan guys have been coming up to America to all their events, so they finally went down there. And so like when I'm watching this, it was like that, like I'm saying, that feeling of watching people win or accomplish shit. Like I just got like a little misty eyed and was like, oh, look at you guys making like that is your lifelong dream, and you're like making it fucking happen. That's awesome. Like, and it was just like that kind of stuff. Like you just want to see people win. You want to see people like succeed in their dreams, man. And it's fucking rad. You know, just like any of that kind of shit where like, you knowing DeCenzo and then watching him fucking grow up into the beast that he is now. It's just like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like
one of the best pro skaters, man.
Yeah, we're literally right out of our backyard here.
Yeah,
like right out of our backyard. Now, just on that Red Bull flow. Like, just, oh, do you need some money?
Dude, Red Bull has some fucking money, bro. Like, I remember.
Speaking of adapting, Red Bull knows how to continue adapting.
Dude, I remember going to like his house fucking so long ago, dude. And he would have flats of Red Bull in his he would have this fridge in the garage. It's just Red Bull.
Yeah.
And then he would have other flats beside it. But they have money that like whenever he couldn't get a sponsor to pay for something.
Yeah.
He'd go to Red Bull.
Yeah.
They like remember the old like VX cameras?
Right.
The heads would fuck up from you rewinding and playing and shit. And those were like $600-$700 fix.
Yeah.
That shit worked on. Should be like, hey, Red Bull, like my heads are fucked, and they'd be like, okay, here's money to go get the camera fixed because you're gonna film content that we can put our name on. You know, it's like they get it.
Yes.
He needs plane tickets or anything. They would just be like, yep, we got you.
If you think back on the grand scheme of everything, though, like kind of even what we've been talking about again forever, but this podcast in general is that like everything's all part of the bigger puzzle piece, and everybody has an importance to it if you realize it. You know what I mean? Like this guy is creating you content and doing all this stuff and promoting your brand and exposing this whole thing. So the better you can make that experience for him, the better that experience will be for the person watching. And it just, rather than just like one person sitting back at the top end of it going, how much money can I make from this person? You know what I mean? Like, because if that was the case, they would be like,
people that have that thought can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, for real.
You're
fucking
not
real.
doing it for the right reasons.
No. And that's exactly it. That's like, do you want to be?
How much money are we gonna make?
You want to be plopped in, have a fucking predictable life, or you want to go do some shit? You do want to have a surprise?
No.
You know. Fuck.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Covered a lot of shit.
I think that's probably good as any time to fucking color daps on today's.
Yeah.
Fucking, I know you got to bomb out of here early anyways, but yeah, we got a bunch of shit coming up.
Good work.
I mean, fuck, I just launched today my announcement that I'm now doing daily vlogs.
And what else did you post today? Let them know. Preach.
But tune in if you want to see a bit more like behind the scenes stuff from the podcast and things of that nature. You can hit up on some socials and things of that nature as well. But yeah, we got some more guests coming up soon. A bunch of other shit. So
exciting things.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Make sure to stay tuned and subscribe. But we'll see y'all soon.
Peace,
Take it easy, everybody.
Have a good day.
Peace.